Welcome back to our Hatters Walkies episode 27. This week we're talking about the Sheffield Wednesday game. LE says we struggled at the end. We need to sit Morris on the bench and announce that massive Norwegian bloke. Josh says Morris is embarrassing. Thank you very much for joining us. It's 20 minutes of Luton Town chat. Coming up on this week's episode, we've got a whole stack full of stuff. We're going to talk about Morris and the new faces. How did the debuts do? We've got Kevin and Mark back to do that with us. The away rot has stopped. What now needs to happen? The February fixtures for Luton we're looking back on, and we're rewarding the January player of the month in terms of who's impressed, but not necessarily getting as many flowers. Right, lots to get through, and plus we're doing our worst ever Luton Town 11 at the end, so stick around for that. Delighted to welcome back Kevin, and of course Mark is back with us as always. Shall we jump into that Sheffield Wednesday result then, Kevin? Who impressed for you and who didn't?
I think there were a lot of positives. I think we were lucky to get away with a point at the end after a dominating first half. It turned around in the second half, but there were some positive signs. I think Fanny had a brilliant game in the midfield. And once he gets used to the footballing UK, I think he'll be a massive positive for the team. Asgard was creative. He had a lot of energy, and he'll bring a different dimension to the attacking play. Doughty again, brilliant to have him back. He's getting to full fitness. I believe the blocks, the crosses into the box is going to be a hell of a lot better. And we've already seen with the set pieces what a difference he brings. So those are the three massive positives. And then the partnership that McGuinness and Anderson brought together. They're tall, strong men who dominate at the back. When they start playing together, it'll be great. And if you remember last week, we had Anderson possibly in the worst back four. So that's a brilliant performance from him and made me eat my words at least.
Absolutely. Cheers for that, Kevin. Our Sheffield Wednesday fans, Mark, said, the back three of Luton, include the two centre-backs and Kaminski, of course, were just outstanding in that second half and kept them out. What was impressive for you?
I could come home and not lose an away game. No, I agree with a lot of the comments. I mean, McGuinness was outstanding, and we although the second half was a bit holding on, we got what we've been crying out for, getting in the blocks and putting everything on the line, and just having to. I mean, the game changed at half time when they brought Smith on, who is like a big, aggressive, powerful forward, and that sort of changed the dynamics, because I think McGuinness and Anderson had an easy first half. So yeah, I mean, and we were never going to end the rot with like playing beautiful football. We was always just going to have to grind it out. We've got the monkey off our back. We've stopped the run of 12 defeats. And there was like a lot of desire and a lot of fight. And Asgard, there's lots of promising signs from him. Josh Bowler came on. You can tell he's a player that is going to try and make things happen, and a few tricks. And I think every player put a shift in, and pleased to get disappointed after the first half, but it was a great point. Great to come home not losing an away game, and there's positives to take as we go forward to try and build on that.
Yeah. Okay. Great shouts from both of you. Let's have a look at a couple more takes. Green Gauge says we were like butter in our midfield. Wednesday sliced right through us. Where was everybody? The tackles that proceeded to the penalty escalated in incompetence. 2 points from a possible 12 is still relegation form. We're still not playing well. We're still not controlling games, despite our third most expensive squad. And last week, Kevin, we were talking about whether the ground has impacted on decisions. But to be fair, 7 days on, you have invested a bit more. You've brought some decent players in now. So this is not really be any more excuses, can there? In terms of people looking towards the board, they have. Do you feel like they've done their best? And obviously, we were recording this before the window closes. There might still be more to come.
The board has done a brilliant job over the last couple of years, and the true fans didn't put the blame on them. The true fans understand that there's certain parts have their part to play in this. It's the board, the players, the managers, and the fans. We've now brought in, I believe, it's 7 players. And we'll see whether that makes a difference. At the end of the day, and it's like a car. We can have the best parts of an Audi. We can have the best parts of a Tesla, BMW. That doesn't make a brilliant car. We need to get the systems correct. The systems were brilliant. The team, the core of the team is still the same core that took us up, the same core that had a brilliant performances in the Premier League. So I believe it's more of a system problem than a player's problem. And that happens. That happens with momentum. That happens, obviously, with confidence. But we have some time. The positive thing is the season's still got a bit to go, and the boys will have to stand up. And I do believe they will. The club is positive, and I can see a little bit of a change in the fans as well. A bit of positivity. 1 point is 1 point. We haven't won a match in 8 league games now, but it'll turn. It'll turn.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that was echoed by these fans here. George says it's a hugely significant to end the run of away defeats. Better side for the most of the part of the game, and we really dug in for it at the end. Well in, lads, let's push on from here. Skeeter says that's definitely a point gained. They batters in the second half. McGuinness was standout. What a warrior. Hopefully this is a turning point. Mark, can I get your opinions on a certain player who made his debut? Ali, happy to play in front of the away fans. We go again. We are Hatters. It's a great debut from Milanic. Carry on running that defence as your skill and speed terrifies defences. What was your view of your new man?
Yeah, I mean, we've got to bear in mind is that these players have got to gel in, and Asgard started, and everyone else got a run out. Don't want to make it sound like a pre-season game when I say that, but yeah, it's about getting minutes in players. A lot of these players, I mean, Ali was playing regularly, but a lot of these players haven't played much, so it's getting minutes and game time in. But they all look like they're bringing. What we're crying out for is just a little bit something different. Bowler brings something different. Ali, and I've said on this show, we're crying out for some pace, a bit more directness, and not afraid to shoot from distance, which Alfie did for an amazing goal Saturday. So they all bring something different, and we're lucky. Well, not lucky, but we've got 10 days where that Matt can work with the players before we go to Sunderland on the 12th. So got time, and the players need to integrate into the club, into what Matt wants them to do. So yeah, it's positive. We're not only Asgard played a longer part of the game, so we need to see how they're going to fit in and what formation Matt wants to employ. And like we've seen, he's not afraid to change it about and drop players and rotate. So yeah, we're building a squad that I feel confident we can start climbing the table, get the confidence, build the confidence up, and let's go on a run.
Okay, no problem. That's a really good run through of all the issues, and I love your confidence, both of you. I think it's really refreshing. We sit on, obviously, listen to lots of teams down at the bottom, and it's all, well, doom and gloom. But you've definitely not conceded defeat yet. Let's have a look at what's in store for Luton then for the rest of this month before we move on. Yeah, as you mentioned, then Sunderland, then a no game this weekend because, of course, the FA Cup. Sunderland away, Sheffield United at home, and then a huge game against Plymouth. I mean, we spoke to them and they're already penciled this one in for their chance to get 3 points on the road. And then, of course, your trip to Watford, the big derby at the end of the month. Yeah, it's a big month for Luton, isn't it, Kevin?
Mark, it is a massive, massive month, and you've touched on it. Why are the Luton fans always positive when we're in such dire straits? I think it's because we've seen everything over the last 15, 20 years. We've had the highest of highs, we've had the lowest of lows. But we do know one thing is our club stands up at the vital times. And it's with that experience and that knowledge that I know that we're going to fight it. Talking about the games coming up, I don't know if it'll get much harder. We've got Sunderland on a Wednesday evening. They're currently 4th place. Is there a harder place than the Stadium of Lights on a midweek day in the evening? They're 4th. Then we go even harder to Sheffield United, who's currently 2nd. Well, at least we're playing that at home. I think that's the advantage. I believe Sunderland are still smarting from our victory over them in the playoffs 2 years ago. Sheffield United had something to prove against us, coming down with us from relegation. And then it's Plymouth, who's going to fight for every single ball like we're doing. They're going to wear their sleeves on their shoulders. And they're at home, which makes it even tougher. And then we end with our favourite brothers down the road, Watford, who also want some revenge for their 3-0 loss in October. So what an exciting month of football coming up.
Brilliant. Well said. Right, let's move on to our final bit then. This week we have been building up the worst ever Luton Town 11 over the last couple of weeks. We've done goalkeepers, we've done the defence. We're now in the final part, which is the midfield. So over all your years of watching Luton Town, as our spirited viewers as you are, can you help us out with it this week? Can you put in the comments below who's the worst midfielder that you have ever seen? Let's see what Mark and Kevin can come up with here, and then we'll look at the whole team next week as a whole. Mark, kick this off.
Right, I'm going to start with Adam Boyd. So back in 2006. It's not the team, not the money that we've got now. We spent $500,000 on Adam Boyd back in 2006, and it's fair to say we didn't get value for money. Another one I'd probably put in Danny Spiller. That was probably 2012. He never played the game for the club. He came in on free transfer from Gillingham, but yeah, we never saw him. So it's maybe a bit unfair to judge him when we didn't see him. But yeah, it wasn't a great sign. And then someone that I just think we got at the end of his career when the legs had gone was Chris Kamara. It just wasn't. Yeah, it was just like a signing that just didn't do it. And yeah, we just got him after he'd seen the best of him. So I think they're the three that I would put in at this moment. Good
shouts. Kevin, anything to add to that?
Look, I think those are three good choices. Let me add one from the current squad, and maybe that's changed over the last week or two, and that is Walsh. If you can remember, he came in to get some creativity in the midfield, played at Hull, played at Swansea, played at Bristol. We thought he was going to come and run stuff in the midfield. Played a game or two, got injured, came on, got a red card in 34 seconds, I believe it was, 36 seconds. Obviously, got that ban, came back after an injury in the ban, came back for another 13 minutes and got another red card, which ended with Morris basically pushing him off the field. 4 more match ban, everyone asking him to please leave the club. He had to come out and ask to please be forgiven. And he has improved over the last 2 weeks, but I think the jury is still out. So let's start that with a local player. Speaking to a couple of friends, they've also brought some names in. I don't know if you remember a guy called Ratzfetz from Austria, Friedrich Breitenfelder from 2000-2001. He was brought in by Ricky Hill, played 5 games, started 2 or started 3, went back to Austria, made no impact whatsoever in the midfield. So he wasn't great. I have a couple of others. Paul Carden as well also came on loan from Cambridge. And I'm not too sure if your listeners will know. He was actually the assistant manager of Cambridge when he played against them for us. Also not a great player, left after that year. So I would say those 3, if I could just add on Marks.
All right. Let us know in the comments what if they've missed any. Sounds like we've got enough there to fill a whole team. Next week we'll look at the whole team and appoint a captain, and we're looking at the worst ever Luton manager. So join us for that. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Mark. Enjoy your weekend off, from watching Luton. We'll join you next week to preview the Sunderland game. Thanks so much for joining us. And don't forget, if you haven't yet done so, press subscribe below. Cheers for watching.